Hi guys, today's video is going to be on cymbal chokes. Now this is a concept that applies to a lot of genres from like Dixieland jazz all the way up to modern rock and pop music even. But we're going to talk about it in a sort of metal and a specifically thrash metal context in support of my upcoming book, Thrash Metal Drumming, which should be out in somewhere around 1 to 3 weeks from now. I haven't been given an exact date by the publisher, but it's coming. I'll have a link up here to my page on my website where I sell my books, so it'll pop up there when it's available, and I'll also put a link below, again, when it's available, so stay tuned for that. But basically I figured showing how to do a cymbal choke in a book is hard with a static picture or a description, right? So we're just going to do an accompanying video here where I'm going to show the technique so that it's obvious. There's not that much to talk about, so hopefully this won't be a very long video, but I think it's worth noting. Now in the book there are 10 examples of cymbal choke patterns, and then there are 11 accompanying transcriptions of basically song intros that use chokes, because that's a really big thing in thrash. So the first thing we should talk about is how to hold the stick when you're choking the cymbal. Normally you're going to be holding the stick something like this, whether you use a French grip, a German grip, an American grip. I typically use an American grip, so I hold the stick like this when I'm playing. But if you try to grab the cymbal, you first have to do something with the stick, otherwise you're going to be hitting the stick on the cymbal. The thing that I do, and I think that most people do, is you drop the stick into your thumb like this, and I'll bring this closer to the camera so you can see it in a second. But you have to drop your stick into your thumb way down deep so that you have both your thumb and your fingers available for gripping. That's the only way you're going to be able to grab the cymbal effectively. Then when you're done, you have to pop it back out into some sort of a normal playing position for you. And you might have to do this quickly, so that's something to be worked on, where you can just pop it into that thumb pocket basically down in the joint easily and effectively in order to give yourself something to grab with. So I'll show it up close here. You can see I'm putting it way down in the joint of my thumb for grabbing purposes. Then of course you have to bring it back for playing, however you typically grip the stick for playing. Now, there's a variety of ways, but you got to be able to stash it back there to grip. So you get your hand position and you're going to grab the edge of the cymbal, because that's where it's vibrating the most anyway, and you're going to try to get all 5 fingers onto it so that it really stops the vibration. Now you can do this with the same hand that crashed it, or you can do it with crashing it with the other hand and then grabbing it. I prefer crash with one hand, grab with the other if I have time, but occasionally in music it'll be the case that you have to crash with the same hand and choke. So as you probably noticed from the audio in the previous clips, that I'm hitting the bass drum when I'm hitting the cymbal, and then I'm choking it after that. That is pretty typical. It really helps reinforce where that cymbal crash starts and makes it sound punchier. You could also do the same thing with the snare drum, but then you're using both hands, and so you're going to have to move that hand quickly or do the same hand choke. Up to you. But typically people do it with the bass drum more often, although, you know, it goes either way. Other thing that's interesting to note about cymbal chokes is that the length of the choke matters depending upon the guitar riff that you're playing along to, or the bass lick, or whatever it is. So if you are choking to quarter notes and the guitar is playing a full value quarter note each time, you're going to let the cymbal ring before you choke it out. If you're choking to some fast 16th note chugging, you're going to choke it out much more quickly. So I will show you a couple different durations of choke that could correspond to different guitar riffs, and it totally depends on what you're playing along to. You're probably not just choking. You could be, depends on the song, but in a lot of the song there's groove happening and then you choke. There's fill happening and then you choke. So I'm going to play, for example, the intro, just the first basically couple bars of Silent Scream by Slayer. And so there's like a hi-hat and kick groove going on, and then there's chokes at the end of that. And so you're going to have to move from playing something that's not a choke into the choke. And there's really only one choke at the end of the phrase, but it really helps tighten up that sound. If you just crash twice and let it ring, wouldn't be as thrashy, wouldn't be as cool. Okay, so that's about it for today. Get the stick low in your thumb, grab the cymbal securely, hit it with the other hand or the hand that you're about to choke it with, hit a bass drum along with it or a snare, and you should have a good cymbal choking experience as long as you listen to the band that you're accompanying and time out the chokes and the duration of the sustain appropriately. So again, more about cymbal choking and all things thrash metal drumming can be found in my upcoming book, Thrash Metal Drumming. So plan on picking up a copy. Take it easy, and I'll see you guys later.